In this video we take a look at casting on Purlwise. Stay with me and I'll show you how. We might want to cast on Purlwise to give us a neater edge to our finished work, or if we're working in a pattern. In this first stocking stitch sample I've cast on Knitwise, and you can see these little purl bumps along the front. Compare it to the second sample where I've cast on Purlwise. We can see that our edging has no bumps on the front side. Here I've done two samples in garter stitch. Here I've used a cable cast on. On the Knitwise example we can see more of a ridge in between the cast on and the first row of stitches, whereas Purlwise it looks more part of the stitch and a less obvious cast on. Similar for the long tail cast on. Here I've cast on Knitwise. We can see the little purl ridges on the front. Casting on Purlwise, we don't see that ridge. So let's get started. First we'll take a look at the purl cast on. We take our yarn and make a slip knot and slip that onto our needle. We have our working yarn in the front, tail at the back. Come through the first stitch purlwise, yarn over, pull through, and we slip that new stitch from the right needle onto the left needle. And our first purl cast on is done. We come through that new stitch purlwise, yarn over, pull it through, and slip that new stitch onto the left needle. This time we're going to leave the right needle in the loop because we're already in position to yarn over and purl another stitch. Yarn over, pull it through, slip that onto the left needle, yarn over, pull it through, slip onto the left needle, yarn over, pull it through, slip onto the left needle, and we carry on yarning over, pulling through and slipping the new stitch onto the left needle until we've cast on our desired number of stitches. You will find this is probably about the quickest and easiest way to cast on. And that's the purl cast on. Next we'll take a look at the cable cast on Purlwise. We make a slip knot and we slip that onto our needle with the working yarn at the front. We come through that first stitch purlwise, yarn over and pull it through and slip that onto the left needle. Now we can begin our cable stitch, and to do this purlwise we come in between these two stitches from back to front. Yarn over, pull it through and slip it onto the left needle. We come in between the last two stitches from back to front. Yarn over, pull it through and slip that loop onto the needle. We come in between the last two stitches from back to front, yarn over, pull through and slip that loop onto the needle. In between the last two stitches from back to front, yarn over, pull through and slip it onto the needle. We carry on casting on, coming in between the last two stitches from back to front, yarning over and pulling through and slipping that loop onto the needle. We keep going until we have the desired number of stitches. And that's the Purlwise cable cast on. And finally we'll look at the long tail cast on done Purlwise. To make sure we have the right length tail, we can wrap our yarn around the needle for as many times as we need stitches. For example, if I need 12 stitches, I wrap the yarn around 12 times. Then we make a slip knot, and we slip that loop onto our needle with the tail in the front. We bring our thumb and forefinger in between the working yarn and the tail, with the working yarn over the index finger and the tail over the thumb, and the other 3 fingers holding onto the yarn. We bring our needle to the base of the index finger, picking up the loop at the back of the finger, bringing it up and over the loop at the front of the finger. We come underneath the loop on the thumb, bring that through the loop on the index finger, take our finger out of the loop and pull the stitch tight. Coming to the base of the index finger, picking up the loop at the back, coming over the loop at the front of the finger, we come under the loop on the thumb, bring that through the loop on the finger and pull the stitch tight. Pick up the loop at the back of the finger, coming over the loop at the front, we come under the loop on the thumb, bring it through the loop on the finger and pull the stitch tight. Pick up the loop from behind, come over the loop at the front, come under the loop on the thumb, through the loop on the finger and pull it tight. We carry on picking up stitches, picking up the loop behind the finger, coming over the loop in front of the finger, coming underneath the loop on the thumb, coming through the loop on the finger and pulling the stitch tight. And we carry on until we've cast on the desired number of stitches. And that's the Purlwise long tail cast on. And that's how to cast on Purlwise.